Hey, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Welcome. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. You can see I am not in my usual setting. But hopefully I've got a setup here that will work for the day. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Yes, you are looking at my new apartment, or part of my new apartment. That I just moved into this last week. For those of you who are on the last week's office hours, you remember I was sitting out on my old patio and doing the call from there because I had movers inside. So now this is the new place. And clearly, as you can see, still getting settled. I've got boxes back there. I've got boxes everywhere. I've got furniture yet to be delivered. So we've got our makeshift recording studio here today. But by next week's call, should have things a little more dialed in, and I'm looking forward to it. But I absolutely love the new place. Very excited to be here. So I'll take the slight inconveniences here for a little bit. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to D. Bronson, firing off the questions right out of the gate. I love it. Street Smart Marketing, that's Terry. Good to see you, sir. Confidence Media, welcome. Peter, welcome. Yes, still on for now. Awesome. Sudeep, good to see you. All right, good. Chris, thank you very much. It looks like the sound and image is doing good, so we will get this show on the road here. If you are a first timer here at office hours are pure Q&A. So I don't have any agenda for you other than to try and help out. So any questions that you have, you can put in the comments. I'm also going to share a link in the comments right now where you can come on camera and chat with me. So if you have anything to discuss that is longer, more complex, requires getting me some more context, maybe we want to share a screen, things like that, you are welcome to do that using that link, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to go through the questions as they come in here in the comments. I will also at least make an attempt here to jump over to my our private membership area, Moguls, and check for any questions over there. I see Hayden, Dawson, Terry all jumping in back there. Awesome. I will get to you gentlemen here. Let's start with D. Bronson, though, because D jumped in with the questions right out of the gate, which I love. Hey, I have a few questions, but we'll be on the road at 2 p.m. and can't type. Unfortunately, my onboarding was very disjointed because Go HighLevel had a tech issue and it was cut short. Uh-oh, that's no good. Been going through the courses, but really need a quick start. I have 4 websites to do for 2 CX. So feeling the pressure to get it done. Where do I start to just get that done ASAP? Okay, let's answer that one first. So the first thing that you do to get websites done very quickly is you just jump into HighLevel's website builder and choose from the templates inside there. So there's lots and lots of templates available to you inside of that website builder. There's even more options for you if those, for whatever reason, don't cut it for you. Keep in mind, any of those templates are completely editable. So you get in there, you see copy you don't like, colors you don't like, images you don't like. You just replace them, edit them, delete them, whatever you want to do. So depending on your website design skills, background, chops, if you will, you can determine how much of that you want to mess around with. For me, I would just look for a template that I feel like, okay, I can use this right out of the gate just by modifying the text, modifying the images, things like that. And then if you do not have website design chops, like I do not, right? That's not something I've ever taken the time to develop. Then what I would highly recommend that you do is that you just find somebody that can help you with putting that final, design, implementation, and polish and making it look exactly how you want. And there are an endless number of very inexpensive resources you can find to help you. You can post on Upwork, you could post on Fiverr, you could post in the HighLevel Facebook community. And again, for very little money, you can get somebody that can help you with doing that website construction and also design and just making it look exactly like you'd like. So that should be a relatively easy one for you, because websites really are just, especially for small businesses, they are just pretty templated. You don't need to get all crazy as a designer, okay? Bronson says, when do you use a snapshot versus a template for a website? For example, your R6 for my website, all the different courses names you have are a bit confusing. Snapshots replace templates. All the different course names you have are a bit confusing. Well, we have to give a unique name to each course. And I'm not sure what we can do there. I think I have a lot of courses, and so I understand it can be overwhelming, and you probably just, is what it is. You got to spend a little bit of time in there. So when do you use a snapshot versus a template for a website? So in the case of using a template, you can just go into HighLevel and grab a template from their marketplace at any time. And you have lots and lots of templates to choose from. If you're getting a website from a snapshot, you're most likely just getting one. Like somebody has said, here's the R6 agency, website that we recommend that you use for agencies. And we give you that specific version that we have developed. And it is not for the general public. So we're not putting it in the HighLevel marketplace. We're just giving it to our customers. Then that will come in our snapshot. And so you would go to that snapshot, you could download just the website portion of that snapshot, or you could download the whole snapshot and you have access to everything. But that's why it would come in a snapshot versus just going and getting a template from like the marketplace. Okay, so it's really just the snapshot includes a template that we created, our team created specifically, and we're giving to you through our snapshot. All right. Snapshots do not, so I hope you understand that snapshots do not replace templates. They are two different things, and they're complementary. One client wants 3 different websites for different companies, but only has one personal cell mobile phone. Do I buy her 3 numbers and forward the calls to her? Yes, that is exactly what you do. Will she find it confusing? Hard to say. I mean, there's plenty of things that you could do to try and make it not so confusing. So as an example, you could use a whisper tech with that number. So when somebody calls, you could have a little whisper message that says incoming call for services that scale, incoming call for their San Diego, incoming call for Mike's plumbing business, right? So you could use some sort of whisper tech like that. You could just make sure that the numbers are distinctly different that are being called, so that I'm trying to think, when it goes to her mobile phone, will it show? I'm pretty sure it will show the name of the business that was called and the number that was called, but I'm trying to remember if that's true or not. I'll have to mess around with that, but it might be slightly confusing at first, but I don't think it should cause too much problem. And like I said, there are solutions there that you can mess around with. Okay. Good luck. It's awesome. You're off to a good start. If you're just getting started and you got a few customers and they're already putting up websites and all that good stuff, you're off to a great start. I love it. Small town outside of Toronto. Awesome. Let's see here. Bruno, no problem, man. Love it. David from Jacksonville, Florida. Good to see you, sir. Gracie, I'm going to the HighLevel event for the first time. Are there any tips you recommend to make the most of it? Also, are you going to be there this year? Yes, that is fantastic that you're going. It's a really, really good event. And yes, I will be there. I look forward to meeting you in person. Please come up and say hi. So getting the most out of events like this, I think it's very important to go in, with a deliberate plan of attack to make the most out of events like this, because it can be very easy to just go and next thing you know, you just had 3 days go by and you're not really sure exactly what you got out of it, right? So a handful of things I would say. One is get yourself in the mindset and depending on how comfortable you are with connecting with new people. Some people are more introverts and it can be a little bit intimidating. Maybe even practice your introduction so that you can go and aggressively network while you're there. Go and meet as many people as you can. Ask them who they are, what they're about, where they're at, how they're doing with HighLevel, what their challenges are in growing their business, what are the things that they've figured out. Pay attention, listen, and get contact information from those people so that you can plan on doing some follow-up. You are going to have the opportunity to connect with a peer group at this event. That's awesome. You're going to see people there that are already doing well into the multiple seven figures at their agency. You're going to see all kinds of people that are winning all kinds of awards. It's a great group to be around. It's very motivating and there's a lot of success in there. So go and connect with as many people as you can, because those people are going to be incredible opportunities for you to build relationships with and to be able to lean on, or them be able to lean on you at some point in the future, which is really important. Next thing I would say is the sessions that are available to you. There's lots of good sessions. I would go in there with a very open mind and take notes. And I say go in there with a very open mind because if you're like me, you've been to 1,000 different marketing events and business events and stuff. And some of these speakers I've seen a bunch of times, and it's easy to get a little bit, kind of jaded, like, oh, I know this, what they're talking about, what their pitch is, all that good stuff. And there's always some gem to get out of every one of those speakers. Every single person that they pick to be up on a stage there has got some real value to add. In addition to the speakers, though, I would say to prioritize panels that seem appealing to you or interesting to you. And when I say panels, they're going to have more informal sessions where up on stage they'll have 5 or 6 people. I was up on a panel once. They'll have 5 or 6 of us, and it's more just like Q&A. And those are going to be, again, those are likely to be like your peers, and you're going to have an opportunity to hear their real world experiences, not in the form of a polished presentation, but more in the form of like this. And I think you can get a lot of really, really good insights that way. The last thing I would say is that a huge number of the HighLevel team will be there, and they really, really, really want to help. So you will meet such great people from the HighLevel team there, and they will sit down with you. I mean, like if you have a technical thing you're trying to figure out, a feature you're trying to understand, something in your setup you can't get quite right, there is somebody there that is an expert in that from the HighLevel team, and that will sit down for as long as it takes and walk you through it and train you on it and answer any questions you have. So take full advantage of that. Their team is amazing. I'm blown away by them every year. And, you can just get awesome support. And then I said that was the last thing, but I'm going to add one more last thing. If you can, come to my wrap-up mastermind meetup, which we'll do. I always do at the end of the last day of sessions. About an hour later, we'll go and meet in a hotel lobby, most likely, and there'll be a group of somewhere between 12, 15, 20 of us hanging out, and we're just going to do a quick recap on our most important takeaways and our most important action items as we leave there. And I think that that's so important to do, whether you do that with me or you do that just on your own. Make sure that you've got some clarity on, hey, here were the most important takeaways, and here are the most important things I'm going to do as soon as I get home. Because it can be very easy to go to this event, you're traveling, you've gotten behind on other stuff, you get home, you got to catch up on regular life, and the next thing you know, you're kind of in the blur of just the day-to-day again, and not really focused on executing what it was that you got out of that event, and you don't want to let that happen. Okay? So I hope that is helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you there. One is an e-commerce site that I need to do it, and will that be possible? Yes, that will be possible. Absolutely. HighLevel has invested a lot in e-commerce capabilities. It sounds though to me you might be a little over your skis, which is just a phrase if you're not a skier, a phrase for you may be a little over your head, right? As in, if building an e-commerce site is not something that you're familiar with, I would not recommend that you're out hustling around selling e-commerce sites right now. You absolutely can do it, and maybe it's a very simple e-commerce site. Maybe it's a restaurant that just wants to sell hats, t-shirts, and hoodies from their restaurant as well. Cool. If you're telling me that you're about to set up a full, hundreds of products e-commerce shop for somebody and you haven't ever done that before, I just highly, highly recommend that you get help. Hire somebody who has done that before to help you, because otherwise you're going to put yourself in a position that you might not want to be in with this customer, or an early customer. You don't want to have a bad experience. Okay. Peter says, what is a good ad campaign for a lead magnet to run on Meta to get business owners interested in one of your foot in the door services that you teach in your course? Peter, so foot in the door services are meant to be marketed very, very directly. That's kind of the power of them, and the point of them is that we're just trying to get straight to it, right? So a free website is a perfect example. It's maybe my favorite foot in the door offer ever, and it's literally just that. You want a big headline that says free website for San Diego small business owners or San Diego restaurant owners or whatever it is, and they click on that and it takes them to, hopefully, ideally, a page that's probably got a video from you, and it's got some example websites that they can look at, and it's got a form for them to get in touch, to get into the queue to work with you. And your video would say something like, hey, San Diego restaurant owners, it's Mike with Super Duper Marketing. No, this isn't a gimmick. We really are going to build you a free website. It's going to be a first-class website with all of the things that you need to make it a real marketing tool for your business, including XYZ and XYZ. You can see a couple of examples down below. Now, of course, you're wondering, why would we do this for free? Two reasons. One, we do charge you for hosting of the website, and so we make some revenue there, not a ton, but you got to pay for hosting. We'll host your website for you. And then two, this is a fantastic way for us to introduce ourselves to to small businesses in the area and introduce our services and have a great first experience. And hopefully you'll end up doing more business with us, although there's no requirement to do so. If that sounds interesting to you, there's FAQs down below. There's also a contact form. We can only do a limited number of these each month, so please get in touch. First come, first serve. We look forward to working with you. I mean, just something simple like that so that people know you're real. It's not a scam. But that's just a very, very nice direct offer. So typically with foot in the doors, again, you just want to be as direct as you can like that. You want to typically want to highlight price, because price is part of the key feature that makes it a foot in the door, is that it's low price. And so it's easy for somebody to buy and make a decision. So, you just want to be very, very upfront and direct with whatever the offer is. Okay. Hayden, you ready to jump in?
Awesome. Do it.
How's it going, sir?
How's it going, Mike? How are you?
I'm great. How can I help you?
Awesome. Yeah, I just first of all, I want to say thank you for all the amazing, valuable content. I started kind of my HighLevel journey about 6 months ago. Cool. Have come across Clay and seen your interviews with him as well.
Yeah.
I actually just kind of wanted to point to this morning. I was watching a stream from about a year ago where you interviewed Jonathan Nussbaumer, I believe.
Yes.
And he was well, first of all, your analogy of just pushing the train out of the station helped so much. And he was kind of in that stage where he was like, I'm coming up on my first year. I'm at about 6K and I'm really just pushing hard. And I watched an interview with him and Clay yesterday, and he just hit 35K. So just kind of in my mind, like the light at the, the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And it helps so much.
I love that so much.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it helps so much because I'm at that stage where I feel like I'm I'm behind the train, just pushing as hard as I can.
Yep.
I kind of wanted to ask you, because I feel like I'm starting to get a lot more systems down. Kind of onboarding and sales seem a little bit more smooth. I'm just about to crack 4K, and
Nice.
really just wanted to ask, like, I'm continually trying to think. I think at the very beginning, it was obviously, how do I get a client? How do I do this, and figuring out how to fulfill. Now I'm kind of doing the reputation management sort of foot in the door, and now kind of working into sort of like the website upsells with chat widget, follow up, things like that. And so I feel like now I'm at the stage where I've just got about under 30 clients, and trying to think about more customer success, fulfillment, retention, things like that. And kind of just wanted to ask you, in terms of, I guess, like the biggest difference between, what is the biggest difference between, you or anybody, like when the customer asks in the marketing company down the street? Is it the personal connection? Is it the specific service? Because that's something that I'm trying to think about. So.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And every service business to some degree or another struggles with this, right? In any industry, because if you don't have a proprietary product, if you don't have a patent on something that you've designed, then ultimately it comes down to the soft skills, if you will, that differentiate you from one to the next. And so there's a number of different things. And what's important, so I don't know, are you in any of my training programs? Are you in high leverage agency, or maybe in
not yet? I've
actually Scale Foundations? Have you been?
I'm in services. Yes, foundations of services at scale. I have.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure in Foundations I have that strategy section where I take you through how to do a blue ocean strategy graph. And you don't need to worry about that too much right now. I just wanted to explain to you that the important thing is that you ask this question and you deliberately answer, because you have to determine what are the things that you are going to compete on. And you've got to optimize those things to say clearly, yeah, this is how we are different. And this is, these are the things that we optimize on. These are the things that we don't. So that customer has a real clear understanding. And you can use that message to really stand out in the marketplace. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Southwest Airlines is a famous example, where Southwest Airlines said, hey, all of the other airlines have meals, they have assigned seats, they have lounges. We're taking all of that away, right? And everybody in the airline industry at the time was like, these guys are crazy. They're taking away all of the things that customers expect. So they took all of that away, but they said, yeah, but you know what we're going to do is we're going to optimize for price, speed, and reliability. That's the thing. We're going to get you to where you want to go. You're going to be on time so you don't miss your business meetings. And we're going to do it as affordably as we possibly can. So it's essentially like a straight trade-off between driving your car. And that message was different. And different is the key, right? Different means it stands out in the customer's brain. And so it obviously worked very, very well for them, because they went completely different from the rest of the industry rather than trying to blend in. In my service businesses, what I have always done in selling B2B services to small businesses, I've always been very low priced, very transparent pricing, essentially all you can eat benefits. We give you everything that you need. We're not trying to nickel and dime you. We're not trying to upsell you to 100 different packages to be able to get the things that you actually need. Right. We're being very transparent about what we're giving you. And then another thing that we optimize for, not saying that you have to optimize for, but was like speed of response. It wasn't necessarily personalized service, because most of our competitors in both the agency space and the IT management space, where I built, my two more significant businesses that are relevant here, the competition was always talking about the personal touch. We're going to come out on site. We're going to, we're local. We're going to get to know you. We're going to get to know your business. We'll come meet with you. And we went exactly the opposite way. And we said, we're not going to do any of that. We work 100% remotely. We're like a call center effectively. We're never going to come to your office. We're not going to meet you in person. And we use that to our advantage, because what we said is, hey, let's be real. When that person is out meeting with you, can they be taking care of any of their other customers' needs? And the answer is, of course not. And that's going to happen to you too. When they're out meeting with their other customers in person, you're not going to be able to get any support. And so we said, because we're not wasting our time driving around and meeting people in person, we're going to meet with you in voice and video like this, but we're going to be available. So we're going to be able to respond to your needs quickly. That stood out in the marketplace, right? And so, in the marketing space, I would say that price is important. The package of features and benefits that you're delivering for that price is important. Lots of your competitors can't even clarify, here's exactly what you're going to get. They're still thinking too custom in their services. And so they just want to react to whatever the customer needs versus saying, here's exactly what you get, here's what you don't get. That's our package. So just being very clear about that. And then expertise, any knowledge that you can develop and that you can market that is specific to your customer base's needs, that you can say, hey, look, plumbers, we've figured out the 3 offers that work to get new customers in plumbing. We've built incredible funnels around them. We're going to put those to work for you. We have expertise in the plumbing space, right? The more that you can develop of that, then, and with reputation, it could be just specifics about reputation. Like, hey, we know how to make sure that we're getting as many good reviews as possible. We have specific systems to do it. We know how to follow up with people who don't leave good reviews and have a high success rate of turning those around. Whatever it is that you can market about that process and your expertise is going to be, super important. And then the last thing that I would say, I know I'm rambling here, but the last thing that I would say is that the most important thing, everybody needs to hear this. The most important thing that you can do to differentiate yourself comes well before anybody's ever going to be asking you, how are you different from the other companies? In fact, it should almost never, ever, ever be a question, because your marketing, your content that you're putting out in the marketplace will absolutely differentiate you from the competition. People will create a bond with you and your business before they ever get to the point of thinking about actually hiring you. And so by the time that they get to you in that sales process, they're self-selected. They've made the decision to talk to you because they know you're different. They recognize you're different. Even if it's not at a conscious level, it may just be at a subconscious level. I watch this guy's marketing all the time, all this content. I read all this useful stuff. That's why I'm in touch with him. And it will just never even be a question. So that is by far the most important and most powerful thing that you can do.
Thank you so much. And then that helps so much, truly. And then just quickly, I know I want to let you get to other people here, but for something like reputation. So I have a guy, $97 a month, automated reputation management, connecting through Zapier. He's getting, maybe 1 to 2 reviews a month just based on his customer volume. So in my mind, I'm thinking about, adding another automated service to kind of make it more sticky or kind of increase the value in his mind for the same price, like throwing a chat widget on the site. Do you think that if I come in and put a chat widget on his website to help with lead capture, to make the service more sticky, is that devaluing my service if I'm doing it for the same price? Or
No, not at all. I think so. You guys should all think about your own experience with HighLevel, right? Use HighLevel as the model for how you should be thinking about dealing with your customers. HighLevel is rolling out new features and capabilities to us constantly and not raising the price on us. Does that devalue HighLevel in your mind? No, absolutely not. It makes it indispensable. And so, in fact, the opposite, the way that you should be thinking about your services is, okay, I've rolled out, I've got, hopefully a year from now we're talking and you're like, yeah, Mike, I've got 200, I've got 200 customers all on this automated reputation service. And actually, Jonathan and I have had this conversation a couple of times, not in the not too distant past here, where he's like, okay, now I want to roll out a next thing. I've got this customer base now, and I know they like me. I know they like my services. How can I roll out another thing to add value? that could be an upsell package, but I think it's really important that you're looking for the opportunities to just constantly demonstrate that you are improving the value of your services to your customers. Because if you're a customer and you're paying $97 a month or $297 a month, and every other month you get a message from your service provider saying, hey, we just created this really cool new chat widget thing that integrates now with our reputation process and is going to get you double the leads. And guess what? It's no additional cost to you. It's coming, right? That's amazing. That makes me want to stick with your service long term. So no, you should absolutely be looking for those opportunities.
Thank you so much. Truly, cannot thank you enough for the content and just making yourself available. Thank you, Mike.
You bet. Absolutely. It's great talking with you, Hayden. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to go to Terry real quick. Terry, how's it going?
It's going good, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you. How can I help?
Well, I'm trying to get caught up on and ahead on some stuff. Went on vacation 2 weeks ago, and I'm like just back to where I need to be now.
Nice.
So, yeah, congratulations on your move. That's always fun, huh?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's always cool when you have a new place. So I'm getting my Facebook posts, my Facebook ads going. I've been running them, but not just to run them. I've got social media posts scheduled out for a month, so those have been going on for a while. Today I'm finishing up my 3-week mail toast warm-ups, so I can start doing emails next week. You know, my cold emails.
Mm-hmm.
And so on my Facebook ads, in the high-level marketing, you say use the CBO campaign. Is that the campaign advantage plus campaign budget? Like it's changed?
Yeah, they've changed it up a bit, and they've changed the name of it, and they've changed even, I think, some of the exact features of how it works. But yes, that's what I'm referring to, is that budget optimization option.
So like when I'm setting up a campaign, I turn on the advantage campaign budget, and that sounds similar to what the one on your site said, on exactly. Your training said. But yeah, now they have like advantage plus audience, advantage plus placements, advantage plus placement. I mean, like all of this, I think it's extra stuff, like it's kind of AI stuff. Should I just turn all that on or ignore that? Or
it's worth a test. I haven't seen anything definitive on it, and my answer in anything with advertising is always test. And I know that that's not the answer that you want to hear, but the challenge is, so yes, when you turn on some of those optimization features, you are letting Facebook and their algorithm and their AI say, hey, we're going to start showing your ad in new places to new people that you didn't necessarily choose to, but that based on everything that we know, we think it's going to work out for you, right?
Okay.
So that can mean, and historically, like if you asked me this question 10 years ago, advertising on Facebook, I would say, no. Don't let Facebook do any of that stuff, because they're just going to burn through your money with some audience that isn't very targeted, and it's going to be a waste. And that was almost always true. Today, as you can imagine, Facebook's data on their audience is insane, right? They know more about us than we know about us at this point. So it is, I personally think it is absolutely worth a test. And it's just ideally, you would have the opportunity to, run a campaign without that on, run a campaign with it on, and kind of look at the metrics, look at where the ads got placed, run placement reports, things like that. Make sure that you feel like the ads and the audience are actually representative of what you want it to be, and then also just look for the results. I mean, let's say it was a ad that is a lead magnet ad, and you could look at one campaign and say, hey, it's getting a lot more views, it's getting a lot more clicks, lower cost per click, but then you can see that the leads, which is really what your ultimate objective is to get leads, that the leads are terrible. And the other campaign, you can see, well, my cost per click is higher, I'm not getting as much action, but my leads are much better. And that can be the difference between the targeting of the audience, right? It's like one of them may just get a lot of clicks and a lot of looky-loos and all that, but if it's not as targeted, then they may not take that next step that you're looking for them to take. So, it really is just a matter of testing.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'm also going to start running lead magnet ads, but I'm starting pretty much cold. Like I've run some ads and I've had like maybe some posts where I've had 100 clicks on them. So in terms of running a lead magnet ad, should I just go, because I'm going local, just go broad local as opposed to
I would.
not trying to target those people because they already can find me, right?
Yeah, remind me of the market that you're in again.
I'm up in Vancouver. It's like 1,500 local businesses, 200,000 people.
Yeah, I would just run it broad.
Okay.
You don't. It's such a small audience that if you try and target too small, your price just goes way up. Facebook is saying, hey, if you're going to target that small of an audience, we're going to charge you $200 CPMs. Versus if you run it broadly, you could be $10 CPMs, and you're getting the advantage of just a lot more of the audience seeing your ad, knowing your brand, and that's where a lot of like connections to business happen that you may not even realize. Just like if you're out networking with friends and family and you're just talking to people and, oh yeah, that's what I do for a living. Somebody goes, oh, that reminds me, Bob's got this business. I think it'd be a great fit for you. Let me introduce you. Same thing happens with ads, right? Somebody that you had no intention of targeting sees the ad and they know Bob. They're like, oh, Bob, check this out, So I personally think when it comes to local advertising, I almost always just go as broad as I can.
Okay, cool. I will. As far as my cold email marketing, should I do something generic? Should I do the AI employee? Maybe a sequence built off of that, off of the funnel that's in your snapshot. I mean, is that like the current, instead of trying to hit people with the general, like the R6, hit them with the AI employee or a free website if you're going to pick between the three starting cold in this local market?
If I was going to pick between the three right now, gosh, I would start with either free website or the AI employee. And which of those, I don't know, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think maybe the free website because everybody understands that, versus the AI employee thing takes for a lot of people still, it's going to take some education for them to even understand what exactly you're talking about. And that just always slows down the sales process. So
okay,
I would probably start with the free website. And then, of course, just keeping in mind, like we've talked about in the past, the idea is we're just going to rotate these things, right? Like every 6 weeks or so, pick a new thing, go after the audience again with a different angle. So, whatever comes first, the second and third should come pretty shortly after that anyway.
Am I targeting free website with people that don't have websites or just everybody in my market?
Everybody in the market. Absolutely.
A free AI website maybe, right?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of small businesses don't like their websites and they just don't feel like they have the money or expertise to do something about it. So.
Okay, and then my last question is, I totally get the whole testing. You want to have the same ad, you start it with the same message, different messages, which is basically the title, right? The message is the headline, right?
Yep.
And then you run those and you switch those and then you switch images, basically keeping the text consistent, right?
Yep.
So when I set up a campaign, now I set up the ad set, and this is what I didn't understand. I watched your video like 10 times. So I have each ad set is just one of those ads. So you said 10, run like 5 to 10 different ad sets. They're all going to be just one ad in each ad set.
And this is for what kind? This is for a lead generation campaign, like a direct response campaign, versus like a content campaign.
An awareness campaign.
So you're just promoting
content.
content?
Yeah, just Facebook ads. So
Yeah.
are Facebook ads like an awareness campaign?
So if I'm running an ad just to generate awareness, then that's my prime the pump approach. And so that's where I'm just promoting like various pieces of content I've created, things like that. Then you can put all of that into a single ad set. You can just put all that into an ad set and just let it run. And Facebook is going to give more traffic to some things than others, and that's okay. You're just gonna, let Facebook do a little bit of its thing there. You can manage budget so that you have more granularity there to make sure that each ad still gets shown. So Facebook doesn't just completely nosedive the volume on something. But by putting it into a single ad set, you're essentially removing some of your ability to do like specific testing, because you're saying, hey, Facebook, I'm just putting this all in one big pot of soup and just let it go, right? Versus if you're doing like a lead magnet ad and you're trying to test like the direct response and you want to know the variables that you're testing. So like you gave the example, I want to have 6 different images, and you want to be able to run at least a specific amount of traffic to each of those. So let's say I want to run until I get at least 100 clicks on each of these ads. Then you would set those up in different ad sets, one ad at a time, so that you can control all the variables very tightly.
Okay. So like a general awareness campaign, like I could put 5 or 10 in one ad set because I'm not trying to, well, I'm still looking for winners or losers, right?
You're just not doing split testing. Like you're not like to do, in neither scenario here are we really probably doing true split testing, but to do true split testing, you would like really isolate all of these variables. So you could say, did the blue button make a difference or the orange button? And all of the other variables were consistent, right? Typically, if you're promoting an article or you're promoting just a piece of content that you created, you're not doing a bunch of that split testing. You're not running 10 different headlines on it to test and see. You're just getting it out there, and then you're learning from it and improving it for the next round of content that you put out there. So it's not so much about doing a bunch of split testing. It's just about getting it out there and getting visibility. Okay. That's why we're not segmenting it like that and breaking it down into the specific ad sets.
So just generally getting awareness out there, just put them all in one ad set with different messages, probably.
Yeah, just keep it super easy. Here, I can just gonna see if I can.
But if I'm like you said, doing a lead magnet, I really want to know, then go with the ad, and then that way I can really test different things. I got it.
That's right. Yeah, because when you're doing direct response marketing like that, it's generally going to, over time, you're going to invest more money in that. It's going to be more expensive. You're going to want to make sure that your ads are really performing, and so you're going to do everything that you possibly can to test those and optimize them. And so you want to be able to get that data and have that visibility into, okay, I tested this variable and that's what's working.
Yeah, I'm really trying to be on top of that, like right now from the start, because like you've said before, I don't want to just get lost in that, because I know it's going to be a big mess if it's not really clear cut.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let me just see. I have, gosh, good thing we're having this conversation so I can get some more ads running, because my ads right now are stopped. But I can just show you like an awareness campaign for their San Diego to give you an idea. Although, hold on, these are all, shoot, I was hoping to show you. Oh, sorry. Just trying to get my. Gosh darn it! I'm not finding what I'm looking for. I was trying to show you an example of these awareness campaigns, but right now, I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding it. But anyway, as I said, if you do the awareness campaigns in a single ad set, that's absolutely fine. And
Well, I'm still going to see some that do better than others, so then I can like pick some of those and then change out the images and just keep testing forward and forward to try to distill it down to a couple of stronger ones.
Yep. So here, I'll just show you this real quick. This is an older campaign and it's off, but I can still show you. Yeah, here's a couple of examples real quick. Let me just share my screen and I'll just show you what the Prime the Pump ads look like. Okay, so you can see now, this is inside of services at scale. I was looking at their San Diego, but this is inside of services at scale. And you can see here, so I call these frame ads. It's just my language. But you can see these are just going out to all visitors. So I've got, a couple of different ad sets in this case, testing some different things. But if you go and you look at the ads, you can see I've got a bunch of different content in there. And these are all, like I said, this is an old one. So these are all, actually I got a couple active still right now.
So these are ad sets.
No, these are ads, but you can see I've only got a couple of ad sets, but I've just stuffed a bunch of different ads and a bunch of different content in there because these are pieces of content that I just want awareness on. I don't really care exactly to split test them and to lock down every variable. I just want to make sure my audience sees them. I want to make sure that they're just out there. And so by just stuffing a bunch of ads in there, I'm just putting them in there, letting them run. Facebook is saying, hey, this one's doing better than that one. So we're going to take more of your budget and put it to this one than that one. And that's cool with me. The most important thing to me is I'm just staying out there in front of my audience with the message.
Okay. Cool.
That makes sense?
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally got it.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You
bet. Good talking to you.
Likewise. Have a good one. Okay, D. Bronson, I want to make sure you saw some of the crew here. I know you're driving, so hopefully you can circle back and see this, but a handful of people have given you some feedback here. Some people here from the community. Sean says, I've made a bunch of custom sites and I now offer us templates, already 90% done for you. Hit me up when you're driving. Awesome, Sean. Dorn says, save the inbound number as a contact in her phone. So that way it will pull up the correct caller ID information. Bryce says you can choose to have it be the business phone or on caller ID or not. Ted says that's an option you can just, or TD says that's just an option you can adjust. So D. Bronson, again, I know you're driving, but hopefully you can come back and just maybe take a look at those comments. The point being that, being able to make it clear on the caller ID front of things should be pretty darn easy and just a little bit of testing for you to get exactly dialed in. Okay. Horatio, that sounds good. Where can I get the info on where you're meeting up? I will send that out the week of the event. I like to get to the event. This is at a new hotel. So I like to just get down there and find like, okay, here's a space that I think is going to work well for us to meet at. And so I'll post it in the community. I'll send out an email to my list, things like that, just saying, hey, if you're down here, let's meet. So just if you could just tune in for that, that would be great. Also interested to be a part of the HighLevel private betas. Would like to know how to be a part of it. Awesome. Horatio, I think we have closed that for now. We've got our first group going through there, but stay tuned with that. I mean, the reason why we're doing this is because we plan on rolling it out to everybody. Okay. Yes, Josh, that's right. Moving. Well, I've already moved. So this is the new place. I just haven't been able to get unpacked all the way yet. I've had a very busy month. Still just trying to catch up on everything. D. Bronson says simple e-commerce site that I'm going to replace. Okay, cool. Awesome. Hanak, is that how you say it? I'm a computer science student and will graduate soon. Congratulations. So could you give me some advice? I want to work in ML and AI area. Okay. Give you some advice. Wow. Man, this is an interesting time to be a college graduate in computer science, because as I'm sure I don't need to tell you, the world is changing fast, and AI is having a huge impact on careers and possibilities for everybody, but really specifically in the whole computer science field right now. Advice would be to think very, very entrepreneurially. The fact that you're here on this call, it's a good sign. Think very entrepreneurially and assume that you are going to have to do everything that you can to control your own destiny. This is the same thing I tell my kids, by the way. I've got a kid graduating from college here soon. Assume that you're going to have to do everything you can to control your own destiny, that many of the assumed expectations around employment and salaries and all that type of stuff are going to get completely rocked here over the next 1, 2, 3 years due to AI. And so that means you're going to need to be on your toes, and you're going to be thinking about how it is that you create value and monetize that value without necessarily that coming from an employer paycheck, right? Since you have knowledge in computer science, and since you are on this call, I'm assuming you're already thinking that way, probably to a large extent. I would do everything that I possibly can to know and understand AI and know and understand audience building. And the reason why I say those things is I think it should be obvious for AI, right? I mean, it's the biggest investment we've seen in our lifetime, and it's just going to continue to go, and it's going to continue to get more powerful. So anything that you can know and understand about that, both in terms of the mechanics of understanding how it works, as well as understanding how to apply it and use it as a tool as effectively as possible. I think any time spent in that is going to be time very well spent. And then on the audience building thing, what I'm referring to is, a broader definition of this word would be distribution. As it turns out in the marketplace now, distribution is kind of considered by the smartest people I'm following to be the most powerful and important thing. And I use distribution because distribution could be like if you were an oil and gas company and you had the pipelines that were feeding all the different refineries or all the different gas stations, right? You own that distribution. You literally own the pipes. If you are a major telecom company and everything that we're doing still has to go over telephone wires at some point or another for us to be able to access the internet, then you own that distribution. You literally own the roads that go to people's houses that the internet works over. If you are an influencer and you've got a 25 million person audience on YouTube, you own a really powerful distribution channel. In that case, we call it an audience, right? But you have the ability to get a message and offers out into the hands, out into the eyes and the minds of 25 million people. That's incredibly powerful and gives you a lot of protection and diversity, if you will, in terms of how you could potentially make money. And if you are doing marketing services for a small business, understanding that distribution is just as critical to them, and understanding the different ways that you can get distribution for them is critically important. I'm working with a new client for their San Diego or media business, pizza shop that opened up a handful of months ago. And they're getting in touch with us now because now they're realizing, oh, shoot, we didn't invest in distribution and it's hurting us, because we can have the best pizza in the world, the best location in the world, but if people don't know about us, they're not coming in and buying from us. And that is the state of most small businesses, right? So we understand distribution. We understand how to get content out there. We understand how to get offers out there. We understand how to use the ad networks. And so we can provide a solution to them. That solution is always going to be valuable. and it's changing all the time, right? AI and the fact that people are now going into ChatGPT to search for answers rather than going to Google to search for answers, that just means that the distribution game is about to change monumentally once again, just like Google changed it for the world when they rolled onto the scene. So focusing on those two things, AI in general, and then distribution and how you get, visibility to offers, how you build audience, I think to me are the two most stable and important things that I could think to invest in right now. So I hope that helps you. All right. Dawson, my man. How's it going, sir?
Good. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
I
Give us
just
the update.
what's that? Update?
Yeah, tell me the good word.
I just made the order for the canvas, which I was supposed to order last week, but I ordered it. It'll be arriving in 6 to 10 business days, and
Nice.
I just let my I'm just emailing my customer to let them know that the order is placed and when it'll be arrived, and I'll let them know when it arrives so I can drop it off.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the thing is communication. Obviously, like when you have a customer, you need to retain them. One is good communication, and two is also service time deliveries. So I'll make sure that I'm more prompt in delivering the orders once they are placed.
Awesome. Yeah, it's super important, especially in today's world. We don't have a lot of patience, right? It's like if I get online to order something and Amazon tells me it's going to be more than like tomorrow to deliver it, I'm disappointed. I'm like, oh, I have to wait 3 days. Like, come on, man. So yeah, you got to be prompt.
Yeah, so this will bring some more revenue in, which I'll reinvest into the business. So
Awesome.
it's good. I'm just learning that. I think one of the insights I had was while I was ordering that, I really had to focus. Okay, what is the size of what is the composition? How do I edit that? And I feel like since I actually had to focus, I felt like I was going through a tunnel. Like I felt like I was in the tunnel, and I actually felt scared because maybe I let go of maybe the phone calls or things that are outside of my control, and I focused on taking action. But I felt like it was like this. I had to go through like a tunnel or something.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think what you're describing, it sounds like to me, is that you have to make a decision to narrow your focus on something, right? And in order to do that, that means you have to ignore other things. And that can be very difficult because oftentimes those other things are still important. But there is something that is most important, right? And Thomas Kelleher, is that his name, calls it the one thing. He's got an excellent book called The One Thing, and it's understanding what is the one thing that I should be doing that will move the needle more than anything else and make everything else almost irrelevant,
Mm.
right? So we were talking about that distribution thing. If you have 25 million people that are raving fans on YouTube, just about everything else is irrelevant. What I mean by that is you could make a so-so offer and not have any funnel at all, no fancy upsells, downsells, anything like that. If you have 25 million people that are raving fans, you're going to get crazy sales from it, regardless, right? And so understanding that there's the thing to focus on and that you're going to have to kind of go through the tunnel and ignore other things to a large extent. It can be challenging, it can be emotional, it can be kind of confusing, but it's also, I think, important.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. It just it makes more sense now. It was good to kind of conceptualize that because I haven't done that in a while, and now that I had to probably fail a couple times in actually getting this order in with communicating with suppliers, working with the customer, and logistically and digital things, and I got the things figured out, and it's on its way, and things are moving now. That makes me feel better. Now I'm at the other side of that smaller tunnel, and now I could branch out a little bit more and
Yeah.
continue growing the business.
Yeah, and ultimately, ideally, hire somebody to help you with those things once you get to that point. But I think one of the things that I've seen really work, Dawson, in this area when you're still small enough that you're like, okay, but I have to do everything, right? Like I can't just not order the canvas for the customers. I got to do the fulfillment too. Is that you just like really strictly time block those types of activities. So a lot
Mm,
of people will refer to this as maker versus manager, right? Maker is when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing that adds value. It's the one thing, right? Manager is all the other stuff. You got to get the paperwork done. You got to pay the bills. You got to pay the people, whatever you got to do. But if you make maker 90% of your day, and then you strictly schedule the manager stuff for the end of the day, maybe even after dinner, late at night while you're watching your hockey game, and you can do that stuff. Um, that way you can make sure that you're carving out as much time as possible for the important things and just being very strict about that. You still got to get the other things done at some point, but
mhm.
you know, it makes me laugh too, Dawson. This is this is something with like significant others. I've always had a hard time explaining, especially if they're not an entrepreneur, where they're like, Mike, you're not getting the, you haven't checked your mail, you haven't checked your voicemail, you haven't checked your mail. Like, how do you know there's not some bill to pay in there that's, super important? You gotta respond to that stuff in time, right? And I'm always like, don't you understand? Like that shit doesn't matter. Like if the choice was between me creating new content, creating new offers, getting new stuff out the door to my customers, or going and checking the mail and my voicemails to make sure that I've responded to every cold caller that's called me, or whatever, or somebody that has a bill that they want paid. If I prioritize those things, I would shortchange my income so much. When I prioritize the income generating things, my income grows way more than whatever fee is going to be on that bill because I paid it 6 days late, right? It doesn't matter. So just pay the damn bill a few days late if I'm focused on generating income and doing what's actually important. That can drive some people crazy because to them, the bill's got to be on time. You got to check your email every day and get to inbox zero, and you got to listen to your voicemails. How do you know it's not an important voicemail in there? Um, I have learned over the years, and some of it comes naturally to me, is that I just like, oh, those things are just not important and they'll get done when they get done. Or, look at my phone right now, Dawson. Let's see. Yes, I have 331, 330 unread or unlistened to voicemails. I could care less. Some people wouldn't be able to sleep at night, right? Because they would see that and be like, oh my God, I have to get through all these voicemails. I could care less. So, yeah, you got to put the blinders on and get certain things prioritized.
And I think that the people leaving the voicemails and the customers will actually have, I think, probably more respect for you because you are adding value overall to everything, which will come back in due time. So,
That's right.
yeah, I did some office work. I went to the baseball game, the Blue Jays game, and then I stayed in the office till 4 a.m. Came back, did a mastermind this morning and a radio call, and now I'm up here. I think I got 3 new offices yesterday, so I can do business in 4 or 5 different cities. And I'm delivering products and services and continue the digital realm. So, no, I couldn't do it
Good,
without
man.
you. And
Get
last
after it.
month I was in Detroit, so I just like you went to Detroit, I went there
Yeah.
as well. It's got a certain rhythm to it. It's got
Yeah.
an energy, a business busy vibe, but also a artistic flair
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And
It does. It
uh,
does. Cool
thank you
place.
for paving the path for entrepreneurs such as myself.
Hey, absolutely, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Okay, everybody, get on high level. Look, Mike's he's moving right now, but he's still taking time for his clients and customers. So this is the place you got to go.
I
Thank you so much,
appreciate it, bud.
and have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Dustin. You too, bud. All right. Let's see here. A couple of things. So one, somebody had asked about what kind of ads to run earlier, like the actual a little bit of the details of the ad. So I just want to make sure and show you real quick. I do have in many of my programs You'll get access to this. I'll just share it. You guys can, whoever's on this call can get access to it right now. So this is my ad template library. You just make a copy of it. It's a Google Doc. Just make a copy of it. This breaks down into different types of ads, so you can see some kind of best practice templates. And again, these are template structures. So don't, of course, they should still be modified and tailored, but you can see I've got prime the pump ads, cold traffic and retargeting ads, and then lead magnets for cold traffic, free training ads, cold traffic, conversation starters, cold traffic, relationship bridge ads, and next step ads. So if you're not familiar with my language around my products and how I approach these things, you kind of got to go through to get a little bit of those details. But let's just say we're going to jump down to lead magnet ads, because that's a kind of ad that we're talking about with our foot in the door. So you can see these are very direct ads. So just some headline variations here that you could try. And this is specifically for the R6. You can see it's R6 ad templates. I have a generic template library as well, but free guide for San Diego business owners, 4 proven marketing systems that will ensure 25% growth or more at your business. Unlock the power of 4 key marketing systems to skyrocket your revenue, get a free copy. So these are just examples of different types of headline structures. And then you can see here, I have different types of lead magnet ads. So this is what I call the sniper shot. And this just means that it's very, very direct. There's no messing around about it. It's just a very direct message as to here's what it is, here's what the value is, here's what you're getting. Here's one that is a tool ad. So you're making it more focused on the thing, the tool that's going to help you. False belief ads. So this is getting more into the psychology of the prospect that you're talking to, and you've seen ads like this before. The 3 lies that stop you from growing your business. The 3 false beliefs stopping you from growing your business. So there's all kinds of different potential ad structures in here. And these are all following some sort of proven best practice structure, right? This, not that. Spending a fortune on ads is not the way to achieve rapid business growth. Do this instead, right? So you've all seen ads, something like this. And the key is, I think that you are just following, you're following some best practice structures to make it easy on you to run some ads in the first place. So again, here's sniper shot, niche, how to get major benefit without major pain. So restaurant owners, how to get more positive reviews, more positive Google reviews without XYZ, without paying for them, without whatever. Again, these are all just proven structures that you're using. And so what you would do is you would go through and you would create variations of this for the specific offer that you're trying to run. Okay. Oh, shoot. Hold on here. Sorry. Anyway, I put that lead magnet thing in there for you. Hopefully that will help you guys. The ad library, in there. Hopefully that will help you guys. Bruno, my man, you ready to jump on? And Ed, I see you back there too, but it says none of your devices are connected, so I can't actually let you on. So if you have anything you can do about that, please do, and I'll have you on here. Bruno, how's it going, sir?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm great. How can I help?
I'm gonna be really upset if your apartment's like all put together, like you said, like next week, and I still have effing boxes and stuff over here for like six months. I'll keep my promise. I don't want to take up too much time. I have a couple
good
quick ones. Last week we were chatting quickly about what you feel like the onboarding process looks like in terms of timeline. I wasn't able to take notes in all of it. If you wouldn't be kind of to revisit that, I think you said over 2 weeks in kind of like 4 chunks. First, I think you said collect basic info, then collecting assets like images and things like that later. I'm not sure if I have that right. Would you mind going through that?
Yeah,
quickly
yeah,
again?
sure. Yeah, I mean, just to put it in rough structures so that you could apply this to any service, right? First thing that you want to do is welcome them, thank them for their business, and outline to them what the next steps are and expectations are. And expectations are for both you and for them. So expectations would be like, hey, over the next 2 weeks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a first version of your website. We're going to give you an opportunity to give us feedback. We're going to build a round 2. You're going to give us feedback. Round 3, we'll launch it. You know, by the end of 2 weeks, you got your new website up and running with all these great benefits. Okay, so I'm just obviously spitballing, but setting expectations of, in order for us to hit that timeline, we need you to respond to us with the important business information that we need to collect in a timely manner. Otherwise, it will push those timelines. So making sure that they know what their job is in you being able to deliver that service successfully. Also, giving them information about how they contact support, how they get in touch with you, all that stuff. The more organized you are about all this, the more confidence they have in their decision that they made to buy from you. Okay? So then the next step is, yeah, there's going to be some information that you have to collect to just get their account up and running and get them going. So it's typically basic business information. You don't want to overwhelm them with asking for, 100 things right out of the gate. You want to ask them for that first round of information that they need to get their account set up and get going, so that you get a little momentum. And again, you don't overwhelm them. If you overwhelm them, they'll just freeze and they won't end up doing anything. Next thing you know, it's 30 days later and they're just canceling their service, right? So get that initial information that you need. And then there'll most likely, again, be a round 2 of information where, yes, you are getting more of the detailed things that you may need for the specific service delivery that you're executing.
Okay, so what would you suggest we start with? And then what will we do in like a second round of that?
Well, so like the first round is like the basic business information. So I mean, things that you just need: addresses, phone numbers, names of employees, things like that you need to actually set up the HighLevel account. So that's like the basic business information. For round 1 of the website, typically there's a process that we follow where we say, hey, look, here's 5 different proven templates for your industry. Choose a template that you think is most appealing to you. They choose a template. Great. Here's, color patterns. Choose a color pattern. Here's 3 different image themes. One is a more professional image. One's a more informal image. One's a more, AI cool looking image. Pick between these image themes that you like. And then asking them things like, are there any specific images you want to use on the site? Is there any specific content you want to use on the site? You can upload it here, right? So allowing them to provide information like that. People make building a website for a small business, I think, a little more complicated than it needs to be. If you go through that process that I just described there, it's actually quite simple, because in most cases, you're either just going to take content from their existing website to fill in the blanks on the site and put up the V1, right? And just say, hey, look, here's a V1, but we can edit all of this. Or you're going to use AI to write copy for them and, choose images for them and put those in place. Again, just to give them a V1. Then they give you a round of feedback, do your V2, one more round of feedback, and then launch the live site is the
What would
approach
you
that we've
charge
always
for
taken.
extra revisions in case someone does? They're like, I want to change whatever. I changed my mind or something. What would you,
Typically like a few $100 or something like that. Like not a huge number, but enough of a number that they go, I don't really want to spend a few $100 just to get another minor thing. It's just something that they have a little bit of a stake in it, so that they're not just running you in circles with minor edits.
Okay.
And then the final step of all of this is that you then want to do some sort of kickoff with them. You get them on the phone, You explain to them here, hey, here's everything that you got. Here's everything that's set up. Here's how you use it. Here's how you access it. Here's how you get support from us when you need it. And just answering any final questions that they have as it's going live.
Okay, so the kickoff like reveal of like the final whatever service it is that you're delivering for them, that's
And
also when you
typically,
like. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, typically, Bruno, we're pre-scheduling that kickoff when we onboard them, because we want to drive to a timeline to keep everybody accountable. We don't want it to drift. So if we say it's 2 week service delivery, we'll pick a time 2 weeks out and we'll put it on the calendar and say, hey, that's what we're aiming towards, we're working towards, and that helps keep everybody on track.
Okay, and so when you do the kickoff kind of reveal, that's also when you then show them around, go high level and like the CRM functionality and contacts and all kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay. And you don't like doing that any earlier. Like, while we're working on the thing we're going to do for you, here's a quick overview of how it works, so that you guys can like start using it or something. You know, like that.
The reason why I don't like that, and I mean, it can work. I'm just saying the reason why I don't like that is that if there's any gap between the training and the actual execution of them going in and using it, you're probably going to have to retrain them, because it just won't stick. Like if we did that training 7 days ago, I'm gonna sit there and nod my head and go, oh yeah, this all looks good. But if I don't get in there and start using it, you're probably gonna have to redo that.
I see. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's more helpful. Thanks, man.
Sure.
Do you recommend supplying phone numbers directly via Go High Level, or is using Twilio separately a good idea? And if through High Level, how do we set it up so that we cover the cost of their number as it's like included in their subscription?
So I personally just go through a high level at this point. I don't know why there would be an advantage to going through Twilio directly. I just do it through a high level. It just keeps it nice and easy. And then how to include that? So do you mean for the cost of the number itself? Because the number itself costs you a couple bucks a month or whatever. I
just wouldn't want them to feel nickel and dimed, because I've only barely started like poking around as having the agency access. Past 2 years I've only been as a sub account on my own. So I see like purchasing a phone number, it's like $1.12 a month or something like that. But I haven't been able to figure out how to not have that charged to the sub account and just handled by the agency account.
Actually, I'm gonna have to. It's been so long, Bruno, since I've gotten in and messed with how the numbers are billed for on that monthly charge. I know with the usage, obviously you just set that up in the SaaS configurator. I'm not sure on the actual monthly though. It's been so long since I've messed with that. I would have to. I would have to look.
I can dig more then. And actually, yes, it's the same thing with usage, right? Like we pay for every little bit that they use up to a certain. Let's say we like include like 15,000 emails a month. As agency owners, we are paying for each of those emails up to 15. Is that correct?
You have complete control over that. You can bill the customer from the very first email, or you can determine the number of credits, the dollar value of credits that you want to give to the customer. So let's say you're charging them $97 a month. You could give them $97 in credits. And so they literally would not get charged for another thing until they've used up $97 worth of services, and then they would get charged. That's entirely up to you though.
What does 15,000 emails equate to? Like ballpark? I have no idea.
You mean how much dollars spend?
Like what it cost us as an agency?
I think it's like a handful of dollars. I can't remember the exact number.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's helpful there. Good. Blah, blah, blah. Have you noticed in your experience any particular industries that tolerate higher, more premium monthly subscription fees? And I just ask because I would love to. Well, like if you said like, oh yeah, man, plumbers are happy to pay bigger money because they see that whatever it is, and that could be charging $9.97 on the regular, $14.97 on the regular, versus chasing. I don't want to be chasing like $97 a month. I want to get higher meatier stuff. Does that make sense? So I was wondering if there's any particular industries that you've seen that.
I mean, maybe like some medical related,
Oh,
some um, other like professional, so like consultants, architects, things like that I've worked with in the past have been more, I think, accepting of higher price points. I think they sell a more premium service, and I think that
yeah,
they are just more comfortable with the idea of, oh yeah, we're paying more for more premium service as well.
that's
Uh,
interesting.
All
So
that being said, I think it really universally small businesses don't want to spend a bunch of money. And it really depends on what is the value of the service that you're providing. So if you are providing a service that, let's say it's a medical office, and you can demonstrate specifically that your service is generating a bunch of new paying customers every month, well then they're gonna
and then it
they're
makes
gonna be
sense.
more willing to pay for that, versus
Sure.
if your service is just a review capture service, they're gonna spend less on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it really is about that more than it is, I think, about the industry. And I think it's more about just the actual success of the customer in that industry. There are a lot of very successful plumbers making a ton of money
Yeah.
that will gladly pay a reasonable fee for a valuable service, right? And then there's a bunch of plumbers that probably don't have two nickels to rub together as well. And that can be said of pretty much every industry.
So then probably the better route to be able to have, I guess let's just call it higher ticket monthly, recurring revenue would be bundles, packages, right? I imagine.
Yeah, and I would say that the high ticket, I don't like the phrase, because what is high ticket? Is that
That's
$25,000
true.
a month, or is
You're
that,
right. I shouldn't have said that. Not in this context. You're right. You're right. Right. Right.
is it because if you're talking $497 a month, $697 a month, any business, I mean, any industry has plenty of customers that can afford that. It's all just about your value proposition and how you're selling it. If you're saying $5,000 a month, then you have to be, I think that in almost all cases, you're going to have to be more of what they would consider some sort of employee replacement. So if they can look at your service, like my IT service business, our average customer was more like $2,500 a month. Okay. And the reason why is because the small business was going, okay, we can either hire an IT guy, which is going to cost us, X thousands of dollars a month, plus benefits,
Sure.
plus
Yeah.
how are we going to even keep them busy? Or I can hire Mike's company for a third of what it would cost to hire a single person. And I'm not going to get just one IT guy. I'm going to get an entire team of IT professionals that are available to us and working on our behalf. I'm going to get the ability to turn on and off the service or scale the service anytime I want, right? And so they're looking at it as, oh, I no longer have to hire that IT guy. So it's almost in their mind, they're going, it's a savings to spend $2,500 a month with Mike. And so you could position, hey, we're your marketing department. We take care of all of these things just like a marketing department would. You can't afford to hire a marketing department. You probably can't even afford to hire a marketing person. But if you are hiring a marketing person, you'd be getting one person, limited skill sets, limited time. Instead, you're getting a team, you're getting access to our service, right? And that's going to give you more breadth and depth of capabilities
Yeah.
for less than what you would spend to hire one person yourself. So
I think.
that employee replacement thing is really, I think, the key to getting those prices that are, let's say, a couple thousand, few $1,000s a month or greater.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just off the top of my head, and I hope people get some value from this too. I'm just making this up, but like I feel like $9.97 might be probably $9.97, like $14.97 would be like my top tier option. I think maybe like a $6.97 and like a $2.97, which actually goes into another quick question I had. What do you think about the idea of using foot in the door offers as a downsell and not necessarily the thing that like, I'm going for it straight away? I'd like to aim higher when I'm initially contacting people and things like that. Have you tried it? Have you seen success with that, or what are your thoughts in general?
So it's really, and I mean, if that's how you're using it, it really is just to try and capture anything from that customer and try and keep them on the hook to become a customer for your higher price services, which is totally fine. I think the most important thing for you to understand as you're thinking through price points is that your price point will largely determine your sales process. So if you're going to sell at higher price points, you are going to have a longer, more involved sales process. You're going to have to do more education. You're going to have to do more getting on phone calls and talking to people, stuff like that.
I'm totally fine with that. I'm more than happy. Like that's my plan at the moment is to hit up Facebook groups and like talk to people.
That's cool. I get that. I'm just saying that you just make sure you need to make sure that your price points and your sales process cost structure are in alignment. It's a big risk to sell something lower ticket if you have a higher ticket price sales process. So if your sales process is designed for those higher ticket services, it's going to be a more expensive sales process. So you just need to understand that if you're doing that downsell, it really is just like I'm just trying to capture them to keep them on the hook to try and upsell more to make sure that I'm trying to recover enough to make that higher ticket sales process work.
So with lower price point stuff, let's call it $97 a month, $297 perhaps. Is that something that we can have on like a sales page? Is like click here to start now or whatever? Is that how most people in your system? Is that how most people are selling, or are they doing it where it's like, great, Joe, it sounds fantastic. I'll send you a contract like later today or something. Like
it's a combination of the two, and it's always going to be a combination of the two. The key is that when you're selling at those lower price points, it should be a marketing driven sales process. So you are ideally getting people aware of you and coming to you by the content marketing and advertising that you're doing, right? Because that's far more scalable and cost effective than doing a more manual sales process.
Yeah.
So it's got to be marketing driven. You're going to, especially at the beginning, you should expect that almost everybody's going to want to get on a phone call and talk to somebody because they don't know who you are. Your message is not as on point as you think it is. Your offers are not as clear as you think they are because you haven't had all those rounds of feedback with actual prospects yet. So you will get that over time and you will build your brand awareness over time. And as you do, more people will come and just click on a button because they've been following you for a year and they have a lot of confidence already. They've seen what you're doing. They've seen your consistency. They've seen the case studies that you've put out. And so they'll come to your website and go, yeah, it's finally time to work with Bruno. I'm going to hit that damn button and let's go. That's going to take time to build that up. It's going to be almost all people are going to want to at least hop on a quick phone call with you at the beginning. Yeah. And that's time well spent because you're going to learn so much.
I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable with the phone. I love like personality comes through, all kind of thing. Those are all my questions. But I found people. An example like the movers that I hired to unload our truck here in Florida. I'm like, so you guys use a CRM, right? They're like, what's a CRM?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So like, I think people that don't even know about this stuff, then you show them Go HighLevel. It's like, look at all this. Like, how could someone not want to like use it, and then all the things. In a way, maybe it could be like an easier sell, like to go after people like that. I don't know. I'll report back, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a tough one. In my experience, the more you have to educate somebody, the harder the sale is, and the harder to get them to execute on it. Versus if they just get it, or they are driving the demand for it because they want to be better at marketing, they want to grow their business aggressively, they want to make sure that they're cutting edge, then the easier it is. So again, in that moving industry, one of my favorite examples of this is when I was in Boston, one of my favorite clients was this company called Gem Plumbing. And Gem Plumbing was a 40-something-year-old family business that was like at $6 million in revenue and had been $6 million in revenue for like 15 years and had all the family working in it. You know, it was a great, solid family business there in the area. The youngest son ended up taking over the business when the dad finally wanted to retire or he passed away. And the youngest son was aggressive. He was a hustler. He studied business. He studied best practices. He understood measurement and management and things like that. He jumped in there and grew that business from 6 million to 100 million in just like the next 6 years. So the business had been 6 million a year and had been around for half a century. And he comes in and multiplies it by 20 times almost in just the next handful of years. And he did that because he was driving it. It made him a perfect customer, right? Because he was just like, yeah, guys, I need the best computers. I need the fastest networks. I need all the things, because he had that vision and he knew it. The far majority of plumbing companies, if I went to them and said, hey guys, you should be using a CRM and automated follow-up, they'd be going, what? Like, dude, we do plumbing, right? I drive around with trucks and, you know, I want to upgrade my trucks, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about with your AI nonsense.
Yeah. Is that mostly who we're going after? Like, you know, companies that are already doing like multiple millions a year, they probably have something. You know, I've been paying it. It's kind of funny. I get like roofing ads now and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, they think I'm a client, but really just trying to say, how involved are you in your business? Like, can I help you? Should we be aiming for folks that are not there yet, that are maybe like individual operators or have like 2 or 3 people on their team? Like, is there a sweet spot that you've seen?
To me, I hate to say this in a way that sounds kind of nasty, but I'm just looking for winners versus losers. I'm not really concerned about the stage. And so what I mean by that is if somebody comes to me that's starting up, but I get the sense that they're a winner. And what I mean by that is, hey, Mike, I'm starting this business. I need to invest. I need to be aggressive. I want the best stuff. I want to be sharp with my marketing. Like, I know I've got to put some money into that. Then cool, happy to work with you. If you're just getting started and you're like, yeah, no, I don't have a marketing budget. No, I need you to do these things and bend over backwards for me because I'm just getting started, Bruno. I don't have any money. So you got to do these things and bend over backwards for me because I don't have the money to put into that.
Right.
Like, I'm not a nonprofit. And yeah, exactly. Their mindset is not a successful one. It's not a winning mindset. So you'll find broken people with losing mindsets at companies that are 40 years old and have been around forever. And they're terrible to work with because even though it's been around, they probably inherited something or they've years ago lost their edge and are no longer competitive and no longer hungry. And
that's very interesting. So that's kind of like, those are some probably important qualifying questions. Oh, I hate those reactions. Sorry. Important qualifying questions to ask, you know, to go through.
I personally think, Bruno, that the qualifying questions that allow you to assess the mindset of the prospect are the most important qualifying questions by far. Like, I want to hear from you when I'm talking to you. I say, Bruno, tell me about, you know, what your goals are at your business and how have you invested in marketing in the past? And how are you thinking about that? Like, I want to hear how you're thinking about that. Like this pizza shop I was mentioning earlier, I'm talking to these guys and these guys are now like, yeah, we screwed up and we can't afford to screw up. We got to invest in marketing. Like, not only do I want to invest in you, I'm hoping that, you know the market real well around here. Can you help me find the other services and the other ways that I can market my business that are going to help us grow? We got to do this. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who is looking to win, right? And then thrilled to help them.
Yeah, when the photographer, it was a conference very similar to the Go High Level one's happening, showed me 2 years ago. He's like, yeah, it's a system I'm building out. It does all this stuff, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, like, wow, you know. And so I got really excited about it. But I guess I need to remember, not everybody's like that, you know.
For sure.
So okay,
that's very rare.
I don't want to take up too much time. I'm taking up too much time. I don't want you to be mad at me. I need your help. I can't have you mad at me.
All good,
all right.
man.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah, you bet.
It's so hard to do this stuff and get it. Like you have life in the way and existing things and to make money and then start something fresh. You know, when I started my photography business was 15 years ago. I didn't have to make money. It sucks.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Now you got bills to pay.
Yes, I do.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
wish
you.
everybody understood that, because when you're young and you're hungry and you don't have mortgage and family to support and all that type of stuff, great time to
Yeah.
start a business, man. When you can
Yeah.
afford, when you can live off of ramen and pizza and bunking up with a few friends in a place versus, I mean, right now got a place to pay for in an expensive city. I got 3 kids, to pay for, 2 of them in very expensive private colleges. Like it's like, oh yeah, you gotta.
Oh, now this is
Be more serious.
this is just dumb. Like I was talking to my girlfriend, like we eat ramen, like ramen budget, and we just get back from Italy like 2 weeks ago. Why can't it just be pasta, man? Forget ramen. Let's make pasta. That's really good. It's high quality.
Absolutely.
It's like fancy food, really. Whatever.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right, Bruno. Thanks, man.
Thanks
I
a lot.
you.
Yeah, man. Cool. See you. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Actually, Ed, real quick. You good? Sorry to keep you waiting, man.
Hey, Mike. It's all good, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How can I help you?
All right, I'll make this quick. I'm a member in your program. I subscribe to HighLevels through you. I'm on the fast track program right now.
Awesome.
So everything that I'm like how you've been describing it, I think I'm on the 20th lesson. It seems like just like the offerings, the foot in the door, the mid tier versus the all in. I think all those features are only available in the 497 HighLevels plan. Is that correct?
You can do the 297 as well, and you're going to get pretty much all of the features. You're going to have less ability to mark up the resale services, and you're going to have some other limitations. But at 297, you could certainly get started, get your first customers, and then upgrade to 497 when you're ready.
All right.
So yeah, you can do a lot at the 297 level.
Okay, because just I did like a semi onboarding with HighLevels themselves, and the person that was helping me said I'm unable to do the offerings like the ones in your lessons without the SaaS plan, and also in regards with like again going back to your lesson, the mid tier all the way up to the most expensive tier offerings. I can't offer. I can't the sub accounts won't be built individually. I have to manually kind of hunt it down, like which sub account like did X amount of emails, so I'm going to charge them X amount of dollars for this month versus another sub account. And again, just know I'm not trying to over consume this or overthink it. I just do want to like really like dive in, and I'm just going to put my blinders on and just put all my faith in this, Mike. So I'm that's why I just
no, that's awesome. I get it. I think it's important to understand this stuff and make good decisions for you. And so the short answer is, if you told me, hey Mike, the difference between 297 and 497 to me is not going to be a problem, and I just want to go for it and be aggressive and do the right stuff, I would say be on the 497 plan. Great.
Okay.
If you told me, hey Mike, money is really tight and I need to sell, as soon as I get some customers, I can afford to pay for the 497, but until then I really need to be at 97 or 297. You can do everything that you need to do to go sell and find your customers and get them to pay you before you're on 497. It just means that once you've gone out and done that hustle and you've signed up a customer, you're probably going to want to really quickly go, okay, now I've got some cash flow, I've got a customer, let me upgrade to the 497, and I'm just going to set up these things in the 497 exactly the way I want them. But do you have to do that to get started? No, you don't. So I just want to make sure and clarify that, because some people, the difference between 97 and 497 when they're getting started is like really important to them. Just stick at 97 and go out and sell. And when you get somebody who wants to pay you, upgrade.
All right, fair enough. Hey, appreciate the time, Mike. And just on the last note, I'm not an expert in sales. I actually got fired from sales, but I did some Sandler training. And just to share on your audience, two things I learned, and I'm still trying to craft this. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Your lessons.
Love Sandler.
But-
Sandler.
Yeah, two things I learned is like let the customers do at least 60% of the talking, and the
Yes.
second one would be don't blabber your services. Like
Yes.
keep digging what their pain point is. They might be
Yes.
happy with 90% of what they have right now, except for one. And with
Yeah.
like your strategy, the foot in the door, you show them this, their life gets 10%, 20% like better. Their
Yeah.
business gets incrementally better. Then you're like, oh heck yeah, like let me just pay this guy everything, and he'll take care of it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just something I wanted to share.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and Sandler sales training, I'm a huge fan. Anybody that feels like they need sales training, highly recommend their training. So awesome. Thanks, Ed. Good luck to you. I hope we'll see you on a future call.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Alvin, sorry to keep you waiting, my man. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, busy working, and I missed you last week because it took up too much of your time. It was on a short time span, and then today I'm working, but I waited. So
that's cool. How can I help you?
all right, it's mine's just quick. I've been reaching out in the group and even emailed help at Service at Scale. I got my webpage built now. I got my funnels built out. The only thing that I need is I'm working on other things in the background while I was waiting, but I don't understand the automations, the workflows. Right? I know you got I know you got the 6 hours in them. I don't know what I should do to get them to trigger. I actually built out one, and I had the laptop set up and everything, but I went to work today. But I got one email set up. I think that's the VIP and Reach, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know what triggers it. Like I'm not ready to put the content out there yet because if someone hit me up, I got no follow up to go behind it.
Got it. Okay, cool. So with the workflow, okay, so in the workflow, you are going to define the steps that are going to happen, when they're going to happen, and then you're going to connect the content that you want to happen at a particular step, right? So day 3, we send out this email, and then you choose the email that it's going to send, right? So that's what you're doing with the workflow is you're just designing that structure and the steps and the timing of them to get somebody into that workflow. So let's say it's follow-up. So somebody requests some information from you and you want to make sure and follow up with them to get them into that workflow. The most common way, I would say, off of your website is that they're going to fill out a form. And so you're going to create a form in HighLevel, and then in the workflow, you're going to say, hey, when this form gets filled out, you drop somebody into this workflow. So that's the activation step. When you look at a workflow in HighLevel, there's actually a bunch of different ways that you could potentially put somebody into a workflow. But like that's a real common one, right? They fill out a form on your website. You can also, so let's say that outbound prospecting sequence, okay? If we're doing like an outbound prospecting sequence, what you could do is you could choose the people in your CRM. So you could choose 100 contacts in there, and then you could say, add all of these people, do a bulk action to add all of these people into that workflow. And so you do that and it'll kick off for all 100 of those people that outbound prospecting sequence. So those are like the two real common ways is that somebody comes and fills out a form and now they're going to get follow-up, or you manually choose people and say, do a bulk action and put them into that workflow.
Okay, so how would I like other than when I fill out the form, like how would I distinguish which order would they go to? I mean, should I put like a drop down or a checkbox in there for them to choose which one they reach, reliability? Like how would I be able to categorize that?
No, you have a different form. So if on your lead magnet page, right, where you're offering them some specific lead magnet, you're going to have a form that is built for that lead magnet, so that you know that anybody that fills out that specific form, you can direct them to a specific workflow for the lead magnet follow-up. If somebody came to an appointment booking form on your website, specifically for booking a conversation with you, then that would be a different form. And you would take that to a different workflow that's specifically for an appointment booking follow-up. So
Okay.
you're gonna have different forms and different workflows.
So I understand the appointment. I know how to do that part. I already had some people go through the reminders and everything like that. So I guess I would have different lead magnets for the different R's.
Different
That
lead
way,
magnet for what? For the different R's? Yeah, you could definitely do that. Yeah, you can have as many leads.
that way they can go to whichever R and fall into whichever workflow campaign that they should fall into.
Yep. Yep. So like if like on my there San Diego, on my media site, on our advertising options, right? We have a variety of different advertising options. Each one of those advertising options has a landing page that just kind of summarizes what that advertising option is all about. So our newsletter sponsorship, right? You go to a landing page that tells you about our newsletter sponsorship, gives some examples, have some FAQs, and then has a form to get in touch if you want to contact us about advertising in our newsletter. That form then goes to a newsletter follow-up sequence. You know, if you came in and you chose to go to the landing page of our social media advertising options, then that's going to have a different landing page, a different form, and that's going to take you into a social media follow-up sequence, right? So you could set up as many of those as you want with content, you know, specific to whatever it is that they're showing interest in. So yes, for the R6, you could have different lead magnets for each of the R's. You could just have one lead magnet that encompasses all of them, however you want to do it.
All right, and the last of the last, is there any way, I know you're a busy person, and is there any way that we can, like, I can like connect with you one-on-one, and then we can look over my shoulder and kind of follow through, like just to kind of guide me in the right way, or is that just something?
I just don't do it, Alvin. I'm sorry. It's just a matter of time and ROI. Like the only way that I would do it, I mean, I'm happy to do it on these calls, like literally. And the reason why I do that is because everybody can benefit from it then. So like literally, if you wanted to pull open your screen when you're at your computer the next time, and we'll just go through them, I'm happy to do it. And that way I don't have to charge you anything like that. Because if I charge you for my time, one, I don't even want to do that. I don't like the model. I don't like that I have to have an appointment on my calendar and all that good stuff. And I'm going to have to charge you more than you want to be charged. And so ideally, you would just come here and let's do that.
All right, because I was unemployed for a while and now I'm working, and so my days now is very limited. So I won't have that free time to sit at the computer no more. But hopefully I can get some support and group and go from what you told me today and try to get it done, because I feel like I'm just wasting time now, just trying to get this automation flow set up. And so hopefully I'll get it done.
Record workflows best practice video for Alvin. Right, so I'll record a video, but this just reminds me, I have a whole training inside of my programs specifically on workflow best practices, how to structure them, how to name them, how to use them most effectively. Like there's a whole training on that.
Do you know which one it is?
Yeah, well, it's inside of like High Leverage Agency. I'm 99% sure it's still inside there, but I will check. And I will make sure that we get that to you, Alvin, because it's already in there. Like workflows and how you organize them and how you think about them. I mean, it's something I've been doing for a long time now. And so I have like a best practice approach to it. And I think that would be very beneficial for you. So let me check on that, and I will make sure that we get that in your hands, okay?
Man, I greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. You bet, man.
add a little bit of life back to me, so thanks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. All right, it's good to see you, Alvin. Take care of yourself.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. One more question here. I saw in one of your previous trainings that you had a great prompt for creating how-to blog. Do you have any other prompts for the other types of content you generate for Prime the Pump? Yes, I do, Horatio. Yes, I have all kinds of content templates, inside of Content Blitzkrieg and High Leverage Agency. Yeah, for a bunch of the most common content types, they're all in there. And so you can just take that template, drop it in ChatGPT or whatever, and say, hey, here's a structure I want you to follow. Please create a blog post on this topic and make it, 750 to 1,000 words. And at this point, ChatGPT is going to do a real nice job of doing that for you. So yes, absolutely. Again, that's in Content Blitzkrieg, and it's also in High Leverage Agency. Okay. Man, we've been here almost 2 hours, gang. I got to get running. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for your business. Thank you for your questions. I hope you got some value out of it. Our next call next week, we will see you there, I hope. And in between, if you have any questions, you can post them in our community, and myself or my team will do our best to get back to you right away. Okay? Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you real soon. Get out there and get after it. Bye-bye.